Good morning, everyone. It's Heather Cooper here with Playing with Paper Crafting, and I'd like to welcome you to my regular Monday morning live Facebook presentation. And I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Canada, so I'd like to do a project today that involves the blended alcohol technique on vellum. And that's what you see in the background here. I'm also using the Bamboo Beauty stamp set, which is becoming one of my favorites. I've used it quite a lot already. This time I'm embossing in gold Stampin' Emboss powder. And I'm using the Stamparatus just to build this whole design on here. And I'm going to show you all that. The first thing I want to show you though is how to build this background with the blended alcohol technique, and we're going to do it on vellum. So I'm just going to get vellum out. I've got 2 sheets of it here because vellum is, well, I mean, the whole technique is a little unpredictable, so you never know exactly how it's going to turn out each time you do it. Right, so I've got, I'll start with one. I'll just move one out of the way here. There we go. I know it's hard to see, but once I start adding the color to it, you'll see it a little better. So I'm using our Stampin' Blends markers because they are alcohol based. And then I'm going to be spritzing them with 99% rubbing alcohol, which is isopropyl alcohol. And you have to have 90% plus alcohol to do this. Anything less, and it has too much water in it, and it will start to warp your vellum. I tried it with, I think it was, how much was it, 70%? And my vellum just curled right up and wouldn't uncurl. So that was a big failure. So make sure that you have 90% or more. All right, so I'm just going to start I did this a few times, or a couple times yesterday, and I ended up with the best results when I just colored in circular fashion and used quite a lot of the ink when I made my circles. So I'm using Evening Evergreen and Soft Succulent, and some of these colors are a little bit pale, so again, lots of color makes them easier to be seen and to blend. And what I want to end up with are those nice sort of blooms or puddles of color. And I'm just going to basically make an arc of color going down diagonally across my page. I especially need lots of ink on my pale papaya. Okay, now good idea to have some paper towel handy, and now we're going to spritz it. Now I was tempted the first time I did it, because I didn't see a lot of action right off the bat, to spritz more. In this case, less is more. So a couple of spritzes is probably about all you need, because it will spread, and you need to have your paper towel handy to kind of limit the playing field here if you want to keep it within a certain area. You can tip it to get it to run together a little bit. You can lift it up from the paper there. So you can get some action happening vertically, maybe a little bit horizontally, but you don't want too much action going on, spreading across the page. And if you find that you're getting some pooling happening that you don't want, you can just use your paper towel to soak that up. I don't want it to spread much beyond there. So you have to pretty much do this on vellum. The other papers soak it up too much. They soak up the ink and the vellum, and you don't get that spreading action that you see happening here. I think I would like a little more to be happening right in this area. But I get so much spray. I'm afraid of adding too much here. Now, let's soak it up quickly just to get something happening right around that middle part. Because I liked what was happening in every area besides that one, but unfortunately the spray on that is really quite a wide spray. It's not narrowed. Okay, when you get enough, then you can dry it quickly with your heat tool. That also spreads things out a little bit too. And it dries it very quickly because it's that 99% alcohol. It really dries out fast. Which is nice for our next step, which is the embossing. We're going to do this step again. I'm going to do another one. So if you were late, you'll get to see what I did previously. Okay, so that's nice and dry now. Let's try another one. So again, I don't want to, see, this catches almost all of it. Okay, let's see how that does. And again, I want to mop up, so just to limit the width of the spread here. It's kind of a magic technique for me. And right now, with the Expressions in Ink paper on, well, you can't even order it now because it's so back ordered. I think we have to kind of make our own. Is that dry? Good. Yep. All right, so now we're going to use this paper to create this embossed design. So it'll be the background for this bamboo design. And to do that easily, I have got it all set up on my Stamparatus. So I'm going to bring that over here. And I don't have this inserted yet. I have to move this down a wee bit. I put a card in there just to keep it from sticking to the board or to the plate. How's this gonna work so that you can see it? Maybe, yeah, I'll turn it kitty corner like this. Okay, so I have to take the piece I want and I have to place it at 2 inches here and at 6 inches along the bottom here. So at 2, it's 2 and 6, and just move my magnets in to hold it in place. There we go. Okay, and now I have those where I want them and these set up just where I want them. The way I did it before was I had these stamped using just regular blocks, and so then I used this as a guide as to where to set up my stamps on the Stamparatus. So I actually put the stamps with the stamp side down on here, and then I picked them up with the plate so that I'd know exactly where to locate them. So now what I'm going to do is use my embossing buddy to just really give this a good wipe. That takes away the static and the oils and dries up any ink that might still be wet. And looks like there was some because it got on my embossing buddy. That keeps the embossing powder from going where we don't want it. So now I'm going to ink up. Let me bring this over to show you. I'm going to ink up these stamps here. I'm going to start with these with Versamark ink. So I can do it all at once. Make this quick. And I just want to check for edges. I trimmed a lot of these stamps because they had such a wide margin around the edges. So if you get stamps and you think that they have like, if they have like a 1/4 of an inch, even an 1/8 of an inch margin around the edge, it's likely that the edges of the rubber are going to catch the stamp pad, and then you'll end up with halos. So what you can do with your scissors is just trim off in straight lines, just trim off those edges, and it'll keep you from having to do this every time you go to stamp. Okay, so, whoops, I'm just going to bring this over and press it down on my stamping surface and lift it up, and then very quickly I'm going to do the same with this other set of stamps up here and check those edges. I trimmed those too. Okay, and then press those down. So this means that I can do all the powder at once. I don't have to do it in stages. That looks pretty good. The neat thing about embossing in gold is you don't have to worry about, let's get that out of the way. You don't have to worry about the, masking because of the branches overlapping. When you emboss, they all just meld in and you can't tell what's overlapping what. So I'm just going to cover these areas with gold embossing powder, the sentiment. Let's see if I've got it all. I think I do. And just check it, see if there's any halo areas that I need to brush off. I think we're good. Little extra areas around the edge. If I get any on extra gold on the design that I did with the blended alcohol, look, made a bit of a mess there. That's okay. I don't mind a little bit of gold grain coming in there. Okay, so now I'm just going to hold this with my tweezers and we will emboss with my heat tool. Ooh, look at that, so pretty. Here it goes, and you can see how the branches just meld in there. They all melt together, all those edges. Things melt very quickly on the vellum. Okay, so there's our I'm just going to clean up here. There's our design. And now we're all ready to just put our card together. Okay. So let's get the rest of the material. So we've got evening evergreen base. So we'll fold that. Just trying to get rid of all the embossing powder here. Okay, so then we're going to go pale papaya, and then soft succulent. And we could just add this on top, but it is kind of dark, so I think this just brightens it up, putting basic white behind it and then mounting it on there. So we will get started with that. So we're just going to add adhesive to all the different layers. This is a 1/16 of an inch border. So on 5.5 by 8, sorry, 5.5 by 4 1/4 inch base, which is actually 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I cut a 4 1/8, no, sorry, 4 1/8, right, by 5 3/8, yeah, 5 3/8 piece of pale papaya. And then this is 4 1/4 by, sorry, 5 1/4 by 4 piece of soft succulent. My brain is not in a math state of mind this morning, I guess. This card is going to be my newsletter tutorial as well, and it will have all the materials and measurements in my newsletter tutorial for June. So if you would like to receive that, you just need to sign up for my free monthly newsletter. And you can go to my blog at playingwithpapercrafting.com and scroll down to the bottom of the page and you will find a place to sign up. I only send out emails once, maybe twice a month. And it's mostly just to let you know about things that Stampin' Up! Is doing, promotions and whatnot. And try to keep you updated that way. Okay, so now what we need to do is to add this. Of course it's vellum, and I have some vellum adhesive here to make it easy to add. So I'm just going to add a bit in each corner. This adhesive really doesn't show up a lot, but I'm still going to try and keep it in the darker areas. I'll probably put it all the way down there. And this matches the basic weight size perfectly, which is 4 3/4 by 5 by 3 3/4. 5 by 3 3/4. Yeah, that's right. Told you I wasn't in a math frame of mind right now. Okay, and then just to finish it off, we have these genial gems. I think these go with another suite. But they look perfect on this design. They go with the hand-penned suite. So I'm going to use my take your pick tool, and I use a small pale papaya gem up here and a large pale papaya gem down here, maybe a little lower, but down here, and then a small blue gem right about here, maybe here. Where do I want it? I think I'll put it there. Okay, and that is our card today, using the blended alcohol technique and embossing, using the Stamparatus to get our basic design down. And as I said, my June newsletter will be coming out eventually. So if you want in on that, make sure that you go to my blog at playingwithpapercrafting.com and scroll down to the bottom of the page. And if you enter your name and email and hit sign up, then you'll be on my list to receive my monthly emails. They're free, and they have a free download of a tutorial every month. Okay, thanks for tuning in today. I'm glad you could make it. See you again next Monday at 11 a.m. Bye-bye.